Alright, the stream has begun, and I would like to start with Eric as always. Eric, who are you playing tonight? Eric?
Eric?
He's playing an absentee voter.
Chris, tell us about tying.
Oh, it was Chris too?
Tyg is a oh shit, I didn't bring his sheet up. Hold on. I think it's a monk. Yep, a monk that is a dragonborn. That speaks in an Irish accent. And I think he's a shipbuilder.
I just heard a cork pop out of a bottle, so Eric's here.
Yeah, I was starting my teapot, so I had my mic muted.
Who are you playing?
I'm playing Naya,
Naya.
the Tiefling Warlock.
Speaking of Strahd,
Mm-hmm.
Naya's... Hive Queen's played with Naya before.
Yep, a time or two.
Sean.
I'm playing a Raven-esque Arakocra named Mercus Herder.
Marcus.
Hermit it's Marcus Herder.
I am a warlock.
Marcus Cat Herder. Let me turn up your volume.
Scruffy looking nerf herder.
Irene?
I am playing Kyrene, the halfling monk.
Kyrene, as usual.
Yep.
And Tracy.
I am playing Isabella, but everybody calls her Izzy, and she is a half-elf sorcerer.
Isabel. Okay. This week you guys are in the town of Tallwater because the Dolby Inn in Torrington was set fire to and burned down.
Wasn't this one also?
Well, here's the thing. The Dolby Inn in Tallwater is technically still standing. It's just that the upper floors were demolished by Tim a couple weeks ago.
Man.
Oh no.
And so, if any of you happen to go in for a drink, you would find that it's currently under repairs, and there's a gathering outside the front of the staff, and you see, let me pull them up here.
I cut the staff in half and make a wand.
We see a holdup there. Someone's got a gun pointed at people.
You see Curry Beauregard. You see Feather Highborn.
Oh, they're still alive?
They made it.
Oh, hey, I talked to those people.
You see Gumley the bellhop and Umber Hotwater the head housekeeper. And these are all the people from Torrington. So it's going to be probably evident to you that they have been moved.
I just noticed that Gumley looks like Sam Riegel. No, I can't unsee it.
So do you do artwork for all your characters?
Not all of them. These are just the main ones.
Yeah.
What about Sue? Is Sue okay?
Sue is there too. He's hanging out with Chef Rupert. Sue is the sous chef that was recently hired.
Hooray!
He is a boy named Sue.
Is he
Makes
from Sault
sense
Ste.
to me.
Marie?
Yep, he is.
Sorry.
How did you know that? Anyway,
All the way from Lake Suez.
so
Sorry, give me one switch.
all the people from Torrington are gathered here in Tallwater, and you hear Curry Beauregard saying, he's passing out hot pink hats, and they all say, DI does TW. They're like baseball
EI
caps.
does TW.
Yeah, they're like baseball caps.
Baseball thing here. Okay.
So, who of you is here?
I'll be there.
Okay, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Do me at the bar like usual.
You gonna be at the bar?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll post the map again.
Or just the bar that destroyed by Tim.
Oh, I never uploaded it.
Oh, I'm a fisher, not a shipbuilder.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
silly
shipbuilder.
head. Your shipbuilder was a other person.
I heard shipbuilder, not shipbuilder.
Oh, Tag's a shipbuilder too. So in fact, the other game that I played him in was Eric's game, and almost got the party wiped. So
Good job.
Where did I save my map?
Who hasn't gotten
when
the party wiped
when
in
you're
that game?
shipbuilding, gonna have to wipe after.
Yeah, I think Sue, the sous chef, would be at the counter. Here's a map, and so it's the top left is where the dining area is and the bar, and you see some construction workers tromp down the stairs, and somebody comes in and he says, all right, we just did our inspection, and turns out we're not going to be able to keep the place open after all like we hoped. This whole place is going to have to get shut down for safety reasons while we repair the roof.
Well, can't you just repair it around us?
There's fear of collapse. If anything happens and comes through this ceiling and crushes you, the inn will be liable.
If you haven't noticed, I'm a dragonborn. I can't be crushed.
Well, also my construction company will be liable. I can't take that chance. He says, I'm gonna have to tell the manager. I'll be back. You just finish up your drinks, and then we're gonna have to probably shut the place down.
I'll take 5 to go, Rupert.
We'll see the shoe set there. I think Rupert's just coming in the door, and he'll say, the guy will explain it to him. And when he comes back, he says, you know, I have a proposition to you guys. He says,
It should be good.
you could take your drinks and come with us. We're going to experience the underground tour.
Ooh, I'm down.
And he passes you 2 hot pink hats.
Excellent.
We're supposed to wear these.
Kyrie is going to put both hats on her head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a hat on and then finish up like chugging my 5 drinks.
So, for the newcomers, you should just interrupt us and insert yourselves into the story whenever you feel like it. So he's...
Okay. See, would you tell me to be disruptive? I don't know how.
It's very hard.
You literally just say, my character shows up.
Okay, my character shows up, Brian.
Good job.
Are you, is your character new here in Tallwater, like a tourist, or are you a regular?
Oh, yeah, she's a drifter.
Oh, okay. They just built the train station here, so you could have easily gotten off the train. And there's other places to stay around town. And I think when Chef Rupert sees you, he says, I'm sorry to say, we're closing down the shop. You're a bit late, but we could give you a drink on the house if you'd like.
I won't turn down a free drink.
What's your poison?
Go ahead and put it on the house. So there's chances it could fall right through.
You got any brandy?
We do. And he pours you a shot, and or a glass, and he says, You could come with us. We're going to take the underground tour.
Tour. What's underground worth touring?
I don't know. That's what we're going to see.
Oh. Okay, why not?
He passes you a hot pink hat.
Sure.
Marcus walks in the door and is just like,
I heard there were free drinks.
Oh boy, word gets around quick. What are you having?
Deer's blood.
Oh, we have that too.
Really, Rupert? Why do you have deer's blood?
Deer's Blood is the cheap brand of beer.
You never know who gets off that train.
it's a type of oh shit, what is it? It's a type of German liquor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
It actually says beer's blood, but because of the font, the B looks like a D.
So he gets you your drinks and he starts to kind of put some stuff away, and him and his staff start making their way to the exit.
Well, I guess we will follow.
Yeah.
I just toss my cup on the ground on the way out.
You see more construction workers coming and going in up and down the stairs as you leave, and when you go out the door, you overhear Curry Beauregard, the general manager, saying, "All right, who's going? Everybody here? We're not going to wait much longer, I'm afraid."
Naya is standing talking to him. Bright pink hat, bright pink shirt, bright pink pants. And she'll like point at the party coming out. It's like, I think this is the last of them.
All right, it's about time. Here's the thing. Diane Dolby, she's in Torrington right now, and as you can see, she moved her entire staff over here to Tallwater to take care of the place while she's gone. And so I thought, what better way to get to know this new town than to become one of the tourists ourselves. So we're going to do this tourist thing and take the underground tour.
Great. What's down there?
All expenses, well, I should say all tickets paid. Can't pay all your expenses if you choose to get drinks or break something.
So it says underground to little. Are we literally going underground?
I almost understood you. That's quite an accent you have.
I'm from Ireland.
Ireland? Underground?
So he starts heading north. The underground tours are only up the road. You guys go.
As we're walking up the street, I start pointing at Bishop's Winery and go, I vote the first underground tour we take is the tour of the wine cellars.
I second that motion. Well, we are being tourists. I suppose it won't hurt. All right. And the doors swing open and you guys go inside. Hold on, I gotta pull my note. Oh yeah, Bishop's Winery. Hansel Schroeder greets you at the door. Or he's behind the counter. He's an old hedgehog with glasses. And he says, hello, how may I assist you?
When
Oh,
I
you
see him,
have a
I
whole
just scream out
party.
loud, like on that Sonic trailer. When James Morrison sees Sonic.
I didn't know this was such a busy day. There's a whole party of you.
We're here for the tour.
Well, this
Big
is a good
horse today.
this is a good stop along the way. You know, I wrote in my notes that I'm supposed to sound a bit like Peter Sellers. I think I meant Peter Lorre. I knew what I meant when I wrote it.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
He says, is there any type of wine you're interested in? All right, feel free to look around. The cellars are open. And he gestures to the stairs.
Yeah, I just go up to the first cask and start pouring out of that one.
Are there bottles down here?
Bottles?
Yeah.
Yep. In fact,
I'm gonna.
last time they were here, Irene bought a very, very, very expensive bottle.
The 25-year-old artisan bottle of Merlot.
I'm gonna go up to whichever one catches my eye. I'm gonna pull it off the shelf. I'm gonna hand it up to my shoulder, and it's gonna vanish. As my my closet grabs it.
Are you trying to be discreet about it?
Not particularly.
Let me roll a perception real quick.
Not really.
Well, he rolled a 2, so he didn't even notice it happen. Hold on a second.
Naya is walking down to the cellars and is checking for any good bottle of white.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Kyrie's going to join down there.
1 second.
Maybe also go wait.
Well, now I want to go red just to be different.
Well, I already have a red, so I need a light now.
Okay. So, when you go down there, you see several casks, but you also see huge lines of bottles, and they're all kind of categorized into sections. So you'll see like a big stand full of whites and the big stands of reds, and there's all different varieties. There's a whole rack of Merlots and a whole rack of Caroline Hongli Blancs.
I don't think that was words.
You know what? I'm going for Zinfandel.
And they range from based on years and quality, and the price changes. So you can just buy from a price range if you want.
I'm not concerned about a price range. I'm going to pick up a couple bottles and cast Disguise Self so that they appear to be empty glass bottles. And my hat also changes to now read Naya does BW.
Bottles.
Maybe it's the 5 drinks I had earlier, but didn't your hat say something different earlier?
Nope, I had this one custom made.
Can I do an insight check?
Of course you can.
I immediately take the answer as gospel.
Kyrie kind of squints, but okay. I got an 8.
Anybody else taking wine? So far, I have Naya stole 2 bottles, and
I don't think I need wine. She's more of a hard liquor kind of person.
oh,
Between me and the closet, the bottle's probably not actually making it out of here.
Is there a dessert wine section?
what's your knowledge of wines
Yeah.
like? Your character's knowledge of wines like?
Probably the same as mine. Not much.
Would you know what to look for dessert wines?
Yeah, is there chocolate in it?
Yeah, you can find some dark ones that specifically list chocolate on them.
No, there is a chocolate wine, and it is disgusting.
Yeah, Chocovine. I've had several
Yeah.
bottles.
Why?
I had to try every flavor.
You can also guess based on labeling that there's some that look like they're more celebratory, like kind of along the lines of champagne style. Silver labels, shiny labels.
Gold.
I want to pick up one of those and take it up to the counter and say, Mr. Beauregard said that all the expenses on the tour would be covered by him.
I hadn't heard this, but
I walk right up after that and nod in agreement.
Kyrie does too, holding a bottle.
That's the same thing I heard.
I'll
well, he's not
I'll
going
walk
to
around a corner and use my mask of many faces and become Beauregard. And be like, yes, yes, indeed.
The fella seemed very adamant about it.
Shall I just send the bill to the inn then?
Of course.
Are you all right? You sound a little sick.
I'm a bit thirsty.
Well, this should make you right as rain. All right, I have 1, 2, okay. And he starts writing on the invoice list. This one. Any others?
I got 2 bottles of the Zinfandel, one in each hand.
2 Zinfandels.
And I popped the cork on one of them as he's writing it down.
All right. I think that'll do. Anything else?
Kyrie has a bottle of ice wine.
Of what?
Ice wine.
Nice one. 2 Kyrene. Very well.
Oh, one last thing. When you take the bill down there to the Dolby Inn, if you see a fella that looks like he's the one working on the building and fixing it all up, you can go tell him to go fuck himself.
His eyes go wide and he adjusts his glasses and he says, I may word it a bit differently, but we'll see what
No,
happens.
I concur.
Word it, how do you like love?
It's a compliment where he's from.
Do you think it would mean the same to him where he's from if I used the word frick?
No, that's a horrible insult.
Yeah, you should probably workshop that one a little
Copulate
bit
with his
more.
mother.
His face is flushed and he goes, maybe I'll have Freddy deliver the message. He's good at using that word. Well, thank you for your patronage, everyone. I hope you enjoy your tours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So when do we get to the underground part?
The rest of the party has already gotten what they're doing, and they are waiting outside. So when you join them, they start heading down up the road again. And
I just turn back to normal as I go out the door.
Well, you go past this series of caves on your left, and you see residents in front of them, like kids playing in the yard, dogs on a leash. You see, it basically looks like a residential area, but with caves. And then when you get to the end of the line of caves, there's a great big entrance, and it looks like this is the place. And then a guy appears. It's not a guy. It's a. What else do I have? Hold on a second.
A lady?
A dog.
It's a turtle.
You guys are in the land of Resocarin edantatus.
You're going to have to repeat that one more time for me.
Rotocaridinamus.
I don't know. It's like they don't have teeth. Hold on a second.
Oh, is there meth heads?
I gotcha. We're in West Virginia.
Redacted Virginia. Here we go.
I sure hope there's a tiger zoo on this underground too.
Maybe. So you're dealing with, in Tallwater, everywhere you look, especially in the residential area, you see creatures such as armadillos, moles, hedgehogs, platypi, echidnas, and porcupines. This tour guide happens to be a mole. And he has a he has a white blind person's cane.
Hey fella, you better not tell anybody about us.
Who said that? Who's there?
It was him, and I point to somebody else.
Wait, so the guy giving the tour can't see
He's a
the
mole.
stuff he's supposed to be pointing out to us?
He knows his way underground. He's fine.
We're gonna die.
Oh, you always say that.
Yeah, because it's Brian.
Curry says, "We are all here for the underground tour. If you don't mind, we have a large party. I hope that won't be a problem." He says, "Oh, no, no problem at all." He starts handing out wristbands.
Oh boy.
So the hats aren't enough for identifying who belongs in this group. We have to wear wristbands as well.
He can't see the hats.
Is there
What color
anything
are the
special about
wristbands?
these wristbands?
The wristbands are white and yellow.
Are they the terrible ones that you are like impossible to take off?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yes, listen, you don't. There's swimming in here, there's activities. You don't want it to fall off and then you have to buy a new ticket.
I'm not paying for a ticket.
Yeah, all the expenses are paid anyway.
Yeah.
Well, this mole can't see anyway, so it's not going to matter whether you're wearing it or not.
Is there like a roll of these wristband things in there?
Oh, he has a table full of them.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody at the table?
Just
I'll be
him.
back.
I'm gonna try to sneak some extra wristbands to sell later.
Yeah, why don't you do a perception check with advantage, and I'll do perception at disadvantage.
Okay, so my perception advantage is 18 plus, I think they add up to that. Let me see there. Perception. Oh no, plus 3 with this guy, so 21.
Oh, yeah. You can have as many as you want. He doesn't notice a thing.
Okay.
Sean, do moles have good senses besides their eyes?
They have really good senses of smell, and if it's a star-nosed mole, their nose has an obscenely high tactile sense.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If
And
it's
a
not
good
star-nosed-
fashion sense.
I gave him disadvantage, so I'm saying it's not a star-nosed mole.
Well, I mean,
No,
unless he
I
was
put some-
handing them over with his nose.
All right, so you enter these caves. I'm going to post a map real quick.
When Naya puts her wristband on, she shakes it a couple times and uses Mask of Many Faces to turn it pink. So as to not clash with her outfit.
Of course.
I have a preemptive question, Brian.
All right.
The bestow curse says that you may choose an alternative curse effect, but it should be okayed by the GM. Would muteness be okay?
Who are you
The
mutinying
ability to
against?
speak. Huh?
Let me just.
I'm not using it yet. I'm just asking if
I just want
making
to.
something mute is fine.
Yeah, I want to get an understanding of bestow curse real quick.
Okay.
It's probably fine.
Apparently, I have 2 sets of rice today.
What would mutinous do?
And make you not be able to talk.
Oh, mutinous. Oh, I thought you were saying mutinous.
Oh, no.
It's like
We're recruiting against the
you, you're cursed. You can never follow your leader. You always turn against him.
Well, it only lasts up to a minute right now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So you go through the entrance at the bottom of this map, and to your left, to your right, I mean, you can see a whole different market than the one that was outside. This one, from what you can tell just at a glance, it appears that they're selling precious stones and metals and all sorts of things that might be more related to underground stuff. To the left, there's a tunnel that leads to the residential area. There's a big temple in here, so it's a pretty tall cave. Up ahead, you hear you hear splashes and some noise of people shouting and just having a good time type shouting. And directly ahead, you can see this kind of stairway going down. And the mole says, "This is the first level of the underground tour. To your right, you can see the market is open. Now, if you are coming to the market in the future, you don't need a wristband. The wristband is merely for the tour for the other levels. But you can wander in here and purchase at the market any time. Same with the Temple of Gond. You can worship there freely. And the diving hole is restricted on weekends. You will need a pass, but on the weekdays, we just let people come on in. Unless you stay at Deep's Inn, in which case you can get a free pass for any day."
A free pass for what?
The diving hole and the other levels of the other underground tour.
That seems fair. Is there any fish in the diving pool?
No, but there is fishing lower down. There's an aquifer.
So what kind of fish you got in there?
Underground fish.
Well, I think they're actually underwater fish.
A smartass, I see.
She
That-
turns around to look at it and flicks her tail a couple times and says, "It is pretty smart, isn't it?"
That was a personal joke. I can't see anything.
So you wouldn't say fuck, but you'll say ass.
Beg pardon? This is a different guy than was at the winery.
Oh, you have to excuse me, love. I'm pretty drunk.
Looks more like you're ugly drunk.
You see some of the staff of the Dolby Inn start to disperse, and they kind of break up into pairs and wander their own directions. And the mole doesn't know, so you guys can pretty much do what you want to do. He's still talking about history and stuff.
What kind of history? Should I roll a check or something to see what I glean from his meandering?
I mean, if you wanna stand there and listen to him, I can tell you what he says.
Sure.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Brian's like, fuck.
Nye's a historian.
Not many people are aware of this, but the town of Tallwater was built after the undergrounds were already here. In fact, originally there was an old town here for the mining company, but it was shut down and became a ghost town. That's when Tallwater moved in because of the luscious forests. But we still use the tunnels as kind of a historical memory of them. There are mysteries down here that we don't fully know. There were only so many records that were kept, and so some of them are unknown as to what they used them for. Certain areas that are shut off, we don't know what's there. It's quite interesting.
So what was it that they used the tunnels for?
As I said, mostly mining, although there is an aquifer down here, and we suspect that that's been a supply of food for a great number of years.
Was that the water that was tall?
It's very. He stops and thinks.
Brian actually has to think about it.
You know, I don't know where the name Tallwater came from.
Maybe it was just some handsome fella walked into town and they were like, well, that guy's a tall drink of water there.
Could be, could be. In any case, it's also suspected that some of the mining materials was shipped out through the aquifer to wherever it opens up. I'm honestly not sure. I haven't sailed down it.
You ever been to Atticok?
I've heard of it. Never been there myself. Isn't that near the Bettero Bay?
Oh, it's lovely. You'd like it.
Is it Bettero Bay or Bettero Bay?
I'm sure whatever I pronounce it, it would be the exact opposite.
He kind of starts walking through the tunnels, droning on, assuming that you're following him.
I'm going to run over to the pool real quick and then take one dive off the board and then try to catch back up.
Okay. So there's a few people sitting on these rocks, and you go to this place where there's a large rock, kind of, it's acting as a diving board of sorts, a diving platform. And then there's a big hole in the ground to the second level where the water is. And when you dive in, and everybody, as you start, you know, you got to wait in line. There's a couple people and they're doing tricks and stuff. And then as you near the edge, you hear the people cheering you on, and they're essentially saying the classic, do a kickflip, but the equivalent of a dive. I don't know what kind of dives there are.
I still got both of my wine bottles in my hands, by the way. One of them's open.
Brian, it would be a flip.
Yeah, a kickflip.
So I got a 3 on the die for whatever acrobatics that I'm going to do, so I imagine I belly flop.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going for, but it's pretty hard belly flop. You hit the swimming hole down below, and there's a few more people gathered around it on blankets and stuff, but when you come up for air, you can see the staircase going back to the first level, and then right across from you, you can see a big building that says the Minecart Bar and Grill on the sign.
When I'm in the watering hole, can I look down to see how far the water goes down?
It's essentially like a swimming pool.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a bottomless shaft or anything like that filled with water.
It's even possible that maybe they just filled it up manually. It might be man-made.
Oh, okay.
Well, this guy said something about mysteries and unexplored areas, so I think Izzy's going to follow him around in hopes that he'll point out one of the areas, like, oh, don't go in there, we don't know what's there, and that's where she's going to go.
Okay, so I'm going to let you hang with him for a bit. What are the others of you doing?
I'm following this mole man.
Okay.
Yeah, Karen's gonna follow.
Okay.
Naya's learning.
Eventually, he talks a little bit about the Temple of Gond and the Deep's Inn, but there isn't a whole lot on the first level. He takes you through the market very meanderingly and just says some of the vendors they have there and stuff. And he tells you a couple events. He's like, every, second week of every month we have this festival and stuff. Dan! I've missed you. Hi. And so then he takes you down the stairs to the second level where I always forget. Tige?
Tig.
Where Tig is.
How did I get down there? I jumped in the pool. Did the pool spit me out down there?
If you see it's a diving hole, you dive through a hole in the floor all the way down to the second level where there's a pool of water.
Oh.
It's like a double decker.
Oh.
So not difficult for you to catch up at all.
No. Probably the same.
No, Tide, as you kind of come up out of the water and people are cheering you on and laughing at you because of your stupid belly flop, which really stings, I'm sure.
Oh fuck! Where the fuck am I?
You
None of this looks familiar.
you eventually notice your party members coming down the stairs.
Is this fresh water or salt water that I'm swimming in?
It seems to be fresh.
It's
Oh,
tall
okay.
water.
Because when I when I take a drink out of my wine, like it's probably, mainly water at this point.
They were open?
One of them was.
Oh, fuck.
So I kind of gag and spit it out, and then just leave the bottle in the water.
There's
It
just
drops
like,
down to the bottom.
was it red wine or white wine?
It was Zinfandel, so it was pink.
There's like almost like a blood cloud in the water right now.
Oh fuck! I must have some sort of infection.
The Minecart Bar and Grill is owned by a couple of siblings, and if you want my personal opinion, they don't get along too well. Anyway, you can come down here any time without a pass, and also, if you stay at the inn upstairs, you can get discounts. Over there is the old mining section. It's been closed off for years, but we do let people go a short ways in because we are certain of its structural integrity. Deeper in, it gets questionable. This is the swimming hole. Over here we have the crystal garden. You can shop for any number of things that some of them are imitation, but they do have a few stones that you could find in the mine.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, that's not necessarily for me to say, but if you were to ask the shopkeepers, I'm sure they could tell you.
You guys can see down in south of the Tallwater Aquifer, there's people fishing along the banks. Why don't you guys roll perception real quick?
11.
21.
7.
I got a 3.
I got a -1.
How?
I have a -2 to perception.
Oh, okay.
Kyrene,
Damn.
as he's gesturing over to the crystal garden and some people are looking at the fishermen, you happen to glance behind you towards a tunnel that leads to another staircase going down. And this pit is unusually ominous. You see these almost teeth-like spikes protruding from it. And it's made of brick and it's very dark inside.
So what's the hole to our left?
Oh, I don't know which direction you're looking, since, the vision impairment. I can only imagine you're referring to the 3rd level, the staircase going down. That's not part of the tour, I'm afraid.
Why not?
It's closed off. It's a bit dangerous down there, potentially. We caution tourists against...
Well, now we have to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So far,
That's
this tour has been a first level that anyone's allowed to without taking a tour, and a second level that anyone's allowed without taking a tour. I vote we take the tour to the 3rd, and I start kind of like picking up the mole man and trying to lift him over my head and carry him down the stairs.
Listen, the underground tours are mostly just a way for me to make money. There's not a lot of work to be had for a blind man. I don't think this is safe at all.
We're fine.
Well, they already kicked us out of the hotel for it being unsafe, and so I'm not gonna get kicked out of 2 places in one day for unsafety.
He's gonna protest a bit. How hard are you clutching onto him?
I'm trying to like lift him up and like carry him
Okay.
above my head.
His
By his neck.
his little feet are kicking, but he can't seem to escape your grasp. He's not very big.
Perfect.
As you pass by, you notice an old sailing ship that's kind of looks like it's been washed ashore, and you approach this ominous chasm in the ground, and you see that it gets darker up to a point, but then you start to see deep down there's kind of a reddish glow, and there's this old stone staircase spiraling down.
I bet that's where they keep the good drink.
Herman's going to descend.
Okay,
Yep, down the staircase.
Let's go.
down to level 3.
Hey, you. Why don't you put down that little mole?
Then who will be our tour guide?
He doesn't want to help us anyway. You think he's gonna give us a good tour down there?
I look up at the mole that I'm holding and then back down and say, yes.
He's really the only one qualified to give us a tour.
Yeah. He does need the money.
You know, speaking of, this level 3 will cost extra.
How much?
Oh, it's okay. I got I got a side gig that I can make some quick cash on once we get back topside.
All right.
Yeah,
wait,
plus the whole tours are on Mr. Beauregard anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't all expenses paid?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to disappoint Mr. Beauregard.
You did
You
say.
wouldn't like him when he's angry.
Did I hear that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Mr. Beauregard, you say?
Uh,
How deep does this hole look?
It looks like it's probably 40, 50 feet, maybe. And when you get down there, it's very dark. Everything above has been illuminated, but when you get down here, there's just kind of a, like I said, a reddish glow. Some of these crystals are kind of shimmering, and it's crude. Everything above looks like it's been cleaned up and polished and cut away and man-made. Everything down here is just stalagmites and raw cave and rock, and you kind of hear, you feel a heat emanating.
Hmm.
say, does anybody feel a heat emanating around this place?
Yeah.
So you've heard of him.
And so, are you gonna just keep carrying him, or are you gonna set him down?
No, I'm going to keep carrying him. I am going to be asking him questions about, like why the mine is considered unsafe and like what's all down here.
It's, as I said, structural integrity, but even the miners didn't come down here, so far as we can see, based on the evidence left behind. And
You get to the bottom of the staircase, and you leave this first tunnel into a very open hallway, a corridor, and to your right, you immediately see this massive metal. It kind of looks like a door, but it might just be some sort of wall or barrier, because you don't see any sort of signs of keys or handles or ways to open it.
Well, shite, Mr. Mole. Where's the fucking door go?
He's kind of starting to breathe heavily, and he says, We don't know. Nobody knows. It was here, as far as we can tell, based on our abilities to date things. It was here even before the mine was created.
I look at everybody else and like kind of do the raised eyebrow thing.
It is interesting.
Naya nods at Tig a little too knowingly and then looks up to the mole and says, "And how easy is it for you to date things, Mr. Mole?
Nobody's gone out with me ever since I lost my eyesight in that accident.
Oh.
So your
Is it because
dating's
of-
probably not that great."
I would steer clear of the barrier if I were you, and also don't go too near the lava. If you do, I would appreciate if you put me down first.
You don't mean down in the lava.
No, not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
No.
Just had to clear that up before, because sometimes things get misunderstood.
So Izzy, he specifically states that no one's to go beyond the barrier, and that no one ever has gone beyond the barrier. They don't even know what's inside. What are
She's
you
already
doing?
looking for a way to the other side of the barrier.
Okay, why don't you roll an investigation check?
I want to help too, so
Yeah,
would that
somebody
give me
needs to help
advantage?
because I suck at this.
I'm gonna help it because Scott.
I got a 15.
Okay.
Was that with advantage or just your first?
Oh, okay, yeah, they do it different. This, I'll get it right in a minute. We're still gonna go with the 15.
Okay.
It's much better than the 1.
So much better.
You start moving your hands around this cold metal surface. Well, actually, it's a little warm to the touch because of the lava, but it's very surprisingly ornate for how crude everything is down here. You don't find any keyholes, you don't find any handles, and you see that the beams or whatever, the pieces of metal that run vertically on this thing are jutting deep into the rock below, like it was really slammed down hard. Or perhaps erected? I don't know. And then as far as you can tell with the rocks on the sides, it looks like it's sealed into the rock as well on all sides. Why don't you guys all roll perception checks?
I got a 1.
16.
I got 11.
I got an 8.
10.
Kyrene, once again, you're the only one to notice, as they're all examining this metal door, there's a tunnel to the right of you it gets very dark at the end of it. Do you have night vision or whatever? Dark vision?
No. Goblins don't have dark vision.
I'll say it's the glow of the lava, you can very, very faintly make out a structure made of wood.
There's something wooden over there.
I'm gonna knock on the big metal door. Hello there, let me in. It's the cops.
There's no response.
You have to let us in if we let you know that it's us. We received a few noise complaints. Hello? And I knock again.
Nothing.
Tom, do you want to go check out that wooden structure?
Do any of you have dark vision?
Oh, I do.
Naya, when
Yes.
she points it out, and also Izzy, When she points it out, you can see that it's a large arched door.
Well, let's see if this door opens.
If you walk over there, you'll see it does have handles and it does have locks.
Carter, let's go and knock on the door.
There's no response.
Mr. Mole, what's the wooden door for?
Honestly, I've never been down this tunnel before. I didn't know it was here.
And you wanted to charge
Anybody?
extra for this?
The extra was for my own safety.
Can anybody pick a lock?
I think I can. Let's see. I just have to check my character sheet real quick. Oh, sorry. All I got is these shite calligrapher stools. And some fishing tackle.
Is this door locked, Brian?
Nobody's tried it yet.
Can I try it?
When you turn the handle, and it's a big mechanical mechanism, it's like, and you push on it, it doesn't open, but you notice that the wood around the lock mechanism feels soft, and if you were, I mean, that would obviously incline you to look around, and you notice that from the ceiling there's a dripping, and you're gonna guess that this wood is rotted through.
Well, couldn't punch your way through.
While they're fiddling with the door, can I take the mole man by the hand and try to lead him out of the tunnel?
If you'd like.
I'm going to start beating on the door and act like I'm the cops again.
Okay. So Mercus disappears down the tunnel with this mole as you guys hear. And every time you beat on it, it wobbles. And you see the wood start to just, not, I don't even want to say split as if it's like splintering wood, but it's more just like soggy wood. It just starts to kind of cave in.
Yeah, then I'm going to try to rip my way through.
Okay. Why don't you do a strength check?
I'm gonna help him with that.
So with athletics, it would be a 16.
You did that with advantage?
Oh, with advantage?
Yeah, Kyron's helping.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, so tell me how you do this. You just ram it?
Like, I start, like, you know, just normal, sort of like a cop pounding on the door, and then when I feel it, like, kind of give way, then I start doing it harder and harder, and then when it starts to, like, have chunks break out of it and stuff, I, like, kind of stick my head through the hole a little bit and go, "Here's Johnny!"
There's nobody inside that you can see. It's very dark in there.
Yeah, and I have no dark vision, so, yeah, like... Is that, can I reach in and feel around if there's a knob on the other side that I could just, like, you know, turn and open it, whatever? Or latch mechanism or something.
There is. Yeah, it's almost like a deadbolt.
Then I turn it.
And you can swing the doors open.
I stand back a second and then I just, like, kick the thing open.
I guess as they swing open ominously, Kyrene and Naya, you can see a circular room carved out of the rock and in the middle is a pedestal with an orb.
Orb.
I don't like the look of this.
I'm gonna run up to the orb.
No.
I I look at the orb for a few seconds, and then I go, Mr. Mole, wait! And then I realize that I'm not carrying him anymore. And I'm just like, oh, wait. And I like turn around and like look at him or look for him. And I look like my shoulders droop and I go, now he'll never know the exciting secrets down here. Then I turn back to the orb.
And I'll yell into the darkness. We received some noise complaints from your downstairs neighbors.
It's empty.
It's not empty. There's an orb.
Let's not touch the orb.
So while everybody's focused on this orb, I'm gonna take the mole out back into the main thing, and I'm just being like,
I see,
And
guy.
throw him in the lava.
Oh my god.
You know, I'm kind of hungry. I was hoping you could take me to that grill.
I would.
It's not where I thought you were going when you said I'm kind of hungry.
Me too. I'm totally going, no.
Hungry for mole meat.
It would be a pleasure.
He says quietly.
Here, hop up here so I can help you up the stairs.
and I'll like pick him up if he doesn't fight.
He's gonna do whatever you say to do at this point. He just wants to be away from Naya.
I need him to make a save, where is it? Wisdom saving throw.
Well, that's a 7.
So that's a failure. He can't talk now, and I'm gonna walk into the lava room.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna spend about a minute cooking him, and then I'm gonna chop off some nice grilled meat.
Oh, it's not gonna take a minute. You can probably have him toasty.
Well, I have to cook the meat.
He does want to cook meat. It's true.
I think that. I mean, what are you?
I'm a Raven Aarakocra.
Aarakocra. Like, I don't even think you can get very close to this lava. But
I think Aarakocras also don't like enclosed spaces either.
Yeah, I'll use my crowbar as a poking stick.
okay, it does not take long for this mole to lose consciousness and die. So have fun with that.
Okay, I'll stick some of his meat in my bag, and then I'll mask of many faces into him and walk back out into the tunnel with a piece of nicely grilled meat. And I'll go follow the rest of the party.
Will mask of many faces shrink you?
Oh, how small are they? Is he like actual mole size?
He's probably the size of like a hobbit.
Oh, let me see.
In this game, they're called halflings, Brian.
Gee, Brian.
In Ireland, we call them puppets.
Okay, it only lets me get 1 foot shorter. So never mind, I'll just be me.
Are any of you able to read or speak Undercommon?
Ooh,
No.
not quite.
I can speak Sylvan.
I can speak uncommon.
I can speak Upper Common.
Okay. There's some text on this pedestal that you're not quite able to make out.
Can I do a...
Actually, Why don't you guys roll a perception check real quick?
4.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Touches the peaking.
3. Can I roll a check to see if I can recognize the language?
Yeah.
14.
That's a dirty 20 to recognize language.
Okay. Yeah, you know it's undercommon.
I'm sorry, 22. Yeah, I'll look at the language for a while and then turn to the others and go, don't worry, guys, it's not abyssal or infernal. It's just undercommon, and I'll like casually lean against the orb without thinking about it.
Oh no.
It doesn't appear to be fastened in here, so when you lean against it, it starts to move. Almost like it's rolling out of its position.
Oh god, oh god.
And so, based on perception checks, Izzy and Tige, you notice that when Mercus comes back into the room, as he gets closer to the orb, it starts to give off a faint glow.
Who's Marcus?
Sean.
Oh.
Hey, you. Come closer.
What?
Come closer.
I am closer.
The orb likes you.
How close do
Seems to
you?
respond to birds.
How close do you go, Mercus?
I'll walk 5 feet closer. I'll go walk up next to Kyrene.
Okay. Yeah. The orb starts to glow.
Well, that's interesting. Hey, have you had the meat from that grill place upstairs? Pretty good.
And I'll offer a piece to Kyrene.
No, I have not. Thank you.
I'll give her a piece.
You offered her some?
Yeah.
When you pull it out of your bag, the orb lights up, and the whole room is like illuminated.
Oh no.
Oh, look, it's magical meat.
Where did you get this?
Magically delicious.
Yeah. You want some?
Would an Arcana check be of any use right about now?
You can try.
Nat 20 Arcana for 24.
Yeah, I only got a 16.
Yeah.
Don't be showing that magical meter on Boner Guard. He'll try to take it away from you.
You guys both have a suspicion that whatever this meat is and wherever the hell he got it, the orb is responding to it, so it's obvious to you that the closer the meat has gotten to the orb and the more visible it's gotten to the orb, the more the orb has lit up.
I'll toss a piece at Naya.
I will catch it. And
It's really good.
I will start trying to poke it into the orb.
Touch the meat and the balls together.
I'm trying, but it's normally a lot easier to figure out.
It's not too
I'm
hard.
just
Sometimes balls are
rubbing.
sensitive.
I'll start lightly caressing.
Accidentally activate the puzzle.
I'll start lightly caressing the ball with the mole meat.
Arlock99 on Twitch says, "Did Irene get nabbed by Strahd yet?" As soon as you touch it to this orb, it flashes so bright that it's almost hard to look at, especially down in these dark caves, and you hear an enormous crumbling coming from down the tunnel in the big hallway.
No.
No.
Oh, someone's brought crackers.
No, it's meat.
It's borderline floor shakingly loud and enormous.
We
Great.
should go see what just happened.
That's
Yeah,
important.
I'll bet the door opened.
It did. As you walk down the tunnel, you notice that the big barrier is now up in the ceiling.
It just needed a sacrifice.
Is this orb light enough that I can carry it around with us?
You can try.
I would love to.
It seems as though that as long as the meat is nearby, it's gonna stay lit even off the pedestal.
How big is it?
It's about the size of the crystal ball from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking like a foot and a half wide.
Here, we'll
Probably-
put it in the bag. We can use it as light.
Probably like 8 inches.
It's like Atlas holding the Earth on his shoulder.
Shrugs. Yeah, I'll throw it in the bag with the meat.
Who's going to peer through the opening?
Kylie will.
Now,
I'll go walk in front of it.
do you have any sources of light?
Yeah, a big fucking glowing orb
Oh, right.
in the bag of meat. Just the bag is open.
So, yeah, as you illuminate this opening, the cavern in here is at least 30 feet tall, and it's surprisingly ornate compared to the rest of this cavern down here on the 3rd level. There are massive pillars and archways looming over you. Like, this is all, like, somebody made this. The long corridors musty with age, evidently shut up without any air circulation for, like, a great many years. The walls around you are, like, stained with red. It actually looks like faded old blood. And all down the long foyer, you see long chains suspended from the ceiling, as well as dangling from the walls. And below them, in piles on the floor, you see crumbled and dusty remnants of humanoid skeletons. You can tell they're humanoid because some of the skulls are still intact. So it's clear that their bodies once hung from these chains.
I walk in feeling comfortable.
Okay.
Great. Kylie will follow after.
As you walk in, you notice that on your left there's these large doors that seal up, maybe like branching tunnels or rooms or something. And they're just wooden doors like the ones you opened before. And to your right, there's a particularly large archway cut out of the wall leading to the dead end. Leading to a dead end. It's just a big open thing with a wall behind it. It's like a cutaway.
I'm gonna knock on one of the doors.
Okay. As she does that, why don't the rest of you roll perception?
That's a 2.
17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Anybody else think it looks like a metal album cover in here?
It's like Cannibal Corpse.
There aren't enough maggots in the assholes for Cannibal Corpse.
Kyrene, you pound on this door, and it resonates through this entire open foyer, and there's no response. But while she's doing that, Tig and Izzy, you happen to glance further down the tunnel as the light's just starting to lose its illumination, and you notice that beyond all of this, you see the sleeping body of a massive cyclops. And he's shrouded in mists that hiss from the floor all around him, and he's like slumped against the far wall. But you're going to guess that if he were to stand to full height, you would estimate him to be around 16 to 18 feet tall. And then last of all, beside him in the floor, there's a huge metal lever sticking about 6 feet out of the ground.
Hmm. I don't think it's a lever.
Oh, it's a big boy.
What do you think it is, Kyrie?
His club, Brian. Get your head out of the goddamn gutter.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
It wasn't even in there. You went there immediately.
Talking about his club.
Yes, his weapon, Brian.
I yell out, "Hey, big guy, nice house." I am assuming it echoes through all the walls in here too and everything.
It
And
does.
it's not I'm pounding on a door right now either.
It does, but I just rolled a nat 1.
I think maybe he's dead.
Or a deep
Well, that
sleeper.
makes things easier.
We can find out.
How far away is he?
60 feet?
60 feet. I'll walk 30 feet closer and shoot him with Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Rude awakening.
Or roll with advantage, I guess. Is he asleep or no? Ew.
What does Eldritch Blast do? You just gotta roll to attack or what?
Yeah, it's an attack roll.
I missed that.
Yeah, it's an attack roll.
What'd you get?
Oh, I was asking if I needed to roll with advantage or not.
Sure.
18 on the first ray and 17 on the second ray.
Both hits?
Okay. Oh, well, I opened that upside down. Fuck.
Dice on the
They're
floor.
going everywhere. Okay, so the first beam does 13 damage, and the second beam does 6 damage.
Oh, tell me those again.
13 and 6. So if they can, I think they compile. So 19 damage.
Okay.
And it's force damage too, so there's very unlikely to be resistant.
I'm still just eating meat.
He lurches and his one eye shoots open. And
He's alive.
immediately you see his hand open up and he reaches over and he chunks this massive, not club, next to him. And the cutaway in the wall, the arch-shaped cutaway that leads to a dead end, starts to whirl and fizzle and swirl and illuminate with all these colors. And it looks like a stereotypical portal.
Ah, fuck.
Throw the orb at the portal.
He's going to start standing up at this point.
Or at least hit him in the balls with it.
Like, can I do something else or?
I think you guys can all take an action before he finally gets to his feet, but after that it's going to be an initiative. He seems pretty groggy.
How far am I away from the portal?
It's probably 30 feet to your right.
And is it like the kind of portal that you can like see what's on the other side, or?
It's just a swirl of colors right now.
I'm gonna It's so dumb. I'm gonna run up and like stick my hand in.
Your hand disappears, and what you notice is that on the opposite side, your fingers feel colder.
I want to put my head in.
That's nice. That's all.
While he's doing this, I'm gonna cast command on the Cyclops and tell him to flip the lever again.
Okay.
Oh
So
no.
he has to make a wisdom save. DC 14.
Now, he's a huge giant. He's listed as a huge giant. Are you able to do commands on something that big?
So, command buggy. Double check. To a creature you can see within range.
Oh. He got a... Wait, where's his wisdom? He got a 10 minus 2. Now, you specified you were going to cast this as Tide was sticking his head through the portal, right?
I'll be nice and just do it when it's
No, do it, do it, do it.
Okay. Yeah, don't let the player get in the way. Yes.
I mean, I need to know.
Yes.
Okay.
God.
Why don't you roll me perception, Tig?
What are the last things that Tig's gonna see? It's a 13.
Okay.
There's a giant cat meowing in the trees.
Right before you stick your head through this portal, as your hand is in there, you hear kind of the clutter of mechanical instruments, just like when he pulled the lever the first time. You just briefly hear that, and you have a split second to decide what you're gonna do. What would Tig do?
I mean, he was already pretty committed to sticking his head in there.
That's what I
And he's
figured.
pretty drunk.
What you see on the other side are two massive, hideous, deformed giants with clubs. They both look down at you, and you're in another cave formation, but it's different than the one you've. And like I said before, it's colder down here. There is no warmth of lava to warm the place, and that's the last thing you remember seeing. And the rest of you notice that this portal just vanishes, and you're left with a dead end again, and the body of Tig collapses to the floor.
Missing a head in one of his hands.
Yep.
Oh no! What
And
a
he-
terrible accident.
He starts pooling blood underneath him.
Man, I think we got a problem. This thing just killed that guy.
Well, the only way to bring him back then is to kill this thing, right?
This thing-
Sure.
Now, can you just tell him a command, or is he under your command for a while?
No,
It's
it's
what
just
command?
a command. Yeah, it's just a thing.
Then after he
not-
pulls the lever, he's gonna stand to his. I don't even think he's gonna realize that he did it right away. He's gonna stand to his full height, and he's gonna start walking towards you with his big old. This time he really does have a club, Irene.
Okay.
He pulls it from between them cheeks.
Why is he storing his club between his cheeks? Does it at least have
Oh,
a
he's
flared
gotta
base?
train his glutes to be able to hold on to anything. You never know when you're gonna be falling down a cliff ass first.
Okay, I think everybody except for Chris should roll initiative.
I'm sorry.
Ooh. Oh, I got 20. So...
That was an accident.
The blood from Tig's body is starting to mingle with his Zinfandel.
I got a 7.
3. Jesus Christ.
If you could post your initiatives in the chat, that'd be great.
Yeah. 30.
Too bad I didn't specify that it was the wine hand that went into the portal.
Yeah, the ugly
So those
giants.
giants would have gotten a free bottle of wine
In the head.
and a bunch of wristbands.
Does this at least get you an achievement, Chris?
I don't know.
So.
All right. Do I have everybody? I have Kyrene, Naya, Mercus, and Izzy. Looks like I got everybody. Kyrene, kick us off.
I'm going to go straight for the Cyclops.
What are you going to do to him?
I'm going to do a monkey best and punch him.
Okay.
Is that a 15 hit?
AC 14.
Awesome. 3d6. Ooh, that's 10 for the first attack.
Oh, is Kyrene? It's a Baxi monk?
Choose a halfling monk.
Half of them. Okay.
Yeah. That's a miss. Bonus action, I'm going to spend key point and do Fury of Blows.
Cool.
2 more attacks. That's a hit. And that's a hit. So, 10. 21 more damage.
21, what kind of damage?
Bludgeoning.
Okay. So what were your attacks? Not numbers. I mean, what did you do to him? Sorry. You punched him?
I was pretty much punching him.
Okay. Yeah, so you dash over with impressive speed and you start laying into this guy and you hear bones start to crack inside of his limbs. And that brings us to Tig. You're dead. That brings us to...
Yep.
I was looking at the wrong list. That brings us to Naya.
Yeah, Naya's pulling that purple perfect gem out of her pack, summoning her greatsword around it, and going up to wail on this boy. So that's a 4? No, wait. Oh, it's a +7 to hit. So 16 and a dirty 20 to hit.
Got him.
And that'll be 10, 17, 19, 31 damage.
Fuck.
14 of that is force damage. The rest is slashing. Magical slashing.
Okay. What does it look like? Is it what does your attack look like?
It's just a great sword. It's about as tall as she is, so she mostly sticks to just like vertical attacks.
Okay.
One overhand and then swinging back up with it.
As Kyrene starts pounding on one leg, you can slash into the other, and he starts trying to catch his balance. So he's going to swing with his massive club.
It's one of those swinging parties, huh?
I'm specifying it's gonna. I'm gonna attack. I think the sword is gonna be more frightening to him, so he's gonna go after Naya. 22.
That'll hit.
This is a bludgeoning of. Where is it? Oh, that's it. Bludgeoning of 17 damage.
Oof.
He's also going to use a big old rock and try to attack Kyrene with a 14.
That's a miss.
Okay. You easily
When he when he hits me, I need him to make a dex save.
That's going to be 8.
That is going to be a fail. So I'm gonna look up to him when he hits me and say, "You shouldn't have hurt Ty." And this pillar of flames is gonna gush out from under him. And that's 4d10 fire damage. 4, 17, 34 more fire damage to him.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Those were some high rolls.
$31 damage?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's okay.
17. 34.
That's okay.
Oh, 34.
7, 8, 9, and 10 for damage.
Yeah.
All right. So he erupts in a burst of flames, and he covers his eye. He misses with the rock. That brings us to Mercus.
I'm going to cast Scorching Ray, and I'm going to reach down in my bag, pull out a piece of meat, and point. And I believe that's an attack roll. Each ray, yes. So that's a 10. That's a 20 dirty. That's a 12. And that's a 15.
2 hits.
2 hits. All right. Here. I need refresh. No, refresh. It's gonna be 17 fire damage.
Jeez. Anything else?
No, I'm just staying where I am. I'll eat a piece of meat.
He fans away Naya's flame, and he kind of blinks the smoke out of his eyes. It was one eye, and then immediately gets hit with more fire damage as these projectiles come at him, or a ray of projectiles, I guess. Izzy, what are you doing?
Well, I want to see if I can position myself in such a way without getting close to him that I have a straight line without any of my allies being within the line.
They all pretty much just charged him, so I see no reason why you can't just sidestep and get around him.
All right, then a 100-foot long lightning bolt is going to come out of my hands, and he needs to make a dex saving throw.
He is not good at those. But he got a net 20!
Oh, well then he only takes half damage,
Okay.
which 36 divided by 2 is math.
16.
No.
36
that's
divided by 2 is 18.
18.
I'm sorry. I thought you said 32 divided by 2.
Okay,
That's
18
36.
lightning damage.
Yes. Because I like lightning. And if it matters, it ignites anything flammable in the line that isn't being worn or carried.
Okay. Yeah, there's like some piles of bones that light up. whatever bits of cloth were left.
Oh,
Kyrene,
no.
he just missed you with a massive stone,
Um,
and he's currently fanning away flames and lightning.
I hate it, Chris.
I love it.
It's Donna's dad from that 70s show.
Oh, I hear his voice in my head. I hate it.
Hey there, hi there, hello there.
I guess I'm just gonna attack him. I'm gonna actually use my quarter staff this time. That's a hit. It's 8 damage for the first attack.
Okay.
That's a 19. That's a hit. And then second attack, another 8 damage. And I think I'll spend a key point and do stunning strike. He needs to make a con saving throw, DC 13.
Looks good. That's 18 plus 5.
Damn. Okay. Oh, bonus action. I'm going to do an unarmed strike. Why not? That's a hit. Oh. 6 damage.
How much?
6.
It's exactly the amount of HP he had left. So, what is you said unarmed strike?
Yeah.
What is it that you do with your unarmed strike that makes this guy topple over?
After smacking him a couple times with the quarter staff, and it seemed to fail at hitting a good pressure point to stun him, she's just going to hit him really hard in the knee to make him buckle.
I think that you can already sense that he was already down, and you just deliver the final blow that topples him, and he comes down with a tremendous thud that resonates through this cave, and then all is silent.
Great, we're a down party member.
Hmm.
Marcus will walk forward, closing the gap between where he was standing and where the Cyclops never got to move from. And I kind of kick him in the head.
Sure.
Just like,
Don't even have the common decency to land on your back.
That may have been my fault, but
Here, help me.
I'm gonna try and my weak ass try and roll it over.
We'll help him with that. I'll kind of use my greatsword as a prop to kind of wedge under him and.
Why don't you guys
Yeah.
do strength checks?
Harry will help.
You can all add your strengths together, your checks together.
That's a
I
dirty
got a
20.
3.
I got a 22.
Izzy, did you help?
10.
Okay.
I'm not a very strong person.
So 55 total, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to at the very least, you're able to kind of get him up on his side, and his legs are his knees are still on the ground, but his torso is kind of propped up, and you can just kind of wedge your sword under him to hold him briefly. What do you guys want to do with this?
I'm gonna cut off some chunks where we got hit by scorching ray.
Okay. I guess you have no problem with that.
I mean,
What is wrong with you?
It's just like
know.
dressing field dressing a deer or something.
I'm afraid to eat dinner tonight now. I don't know what you're actually feeding me.
Unapologetic cannibal.
Okay.
It's not cannibal if you're eating giant.
true.
So
It's still a little weird though.
you get some hefty chunks out of this thing, and then he flops back to the floor, and you guys are left standing in a room. All that's really left as far as audio is just this mist coming from these rocks. It's not hissing necessarily, but it's very faint. And then to the opposite side of this portal across the hall, you can see 3 doors.
I'll hold up one of these little chunks of meat and say, "To what's his name's memory," and I'll just slurp it. And I'll hold out a few more pieces towards everybody.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No respect for the dead, I see.
I'll hold one towards Naya.
Naya will take one. She doesn't give a shit. To Tywin.
Yeah, that guy.
Naya's gonna go over and find out what Tyg has in his pockets.
What does Tig have in his pockets?
Well, for one, a bunch of the paper wrist tag things.
His all of the fronts of his clothes are kind of like soaked in blood and wine at this point.
That doesn't bother me. I'm gonna take a few of the.
There's also a set of boat keys, like with one of those like little foam like floaty things on it as the keychain.
Yeah, I'll take anything like that. I'll put a few extra wristbands on in his memory. I think he has one unopened bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then also like a calligrapher set and a like some fishing tackle.
That's mostly junk to me. So.
Okay.
Well, I don't have any good spells. So I'm just gonna press to digitate his body to be a little cleaner and roll him over to the. I'm gonna roll him over with the giant.
So that's it. You guys have 2 big bodies here in the middle, and then 3 doors that have been unopened, and then the place where you came from.
Well, I guess we'll see if the door's open.
Yeah.
This whole place seemed highly secure and highly sealed, so when you push on these doors, it seems as though they didn't expect anyone to just waltz right in, so the doors are unlocked.
Huh.
They're heavy as fuck, but you can manage with a group of you, because they're pretty big, like Cyclops-sized doors. Pick a number. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Okay.
M.
Pink.
If you open the 3rd door at the end of the hall, you find yourself in another fast tunnel with more rooms on either side, each filled with something. And at the end, you see a long nature-formed crack along the bottom of the far wall. It seems to be large enough for a man to squeeze through if he were on his stomach, but not without risk of extreme claustrophobia.
So many doors. Just start trying all the doors as I walk down the hall.
Okay. All right. So
Go.
go ahead.
I'm gonna go squat by that crack and send my quasit through.
Send your
To
what?
see what's there. My quasit, my familiar.
What is that?
A little. It's a demon.
Oh.
That's what he calls his baby.
It's a
I
tiny
never
demon
meant to
that's
make
that's
you
invisible.
cry, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet.
The familiar acts on its own. You can't see through its eyes or anything like that, or control it.
I can.
You can?
Yeah. I'm blind and deaf while I'm doing it, but I can.
Okay. All right. We'll resolve the rooms first.
Okay.
You open the first door, Izzy, and a stench of decay in the air hits you. You find the large room filled with humanoid bones and ancient armor and aged strips of what was once cloth. This pile of bones is wall to wall, stacked about 13 feet at its highest point. It's just basically a room with a pile of bones.
Dead folks. Close the door. Go to the next one.
In the next one, you find broken skeletons around the perimeter of the room. Cut into the far wall, you see long shelves spanning its lengths like bunk beds, and in each bunk are the remains of what must have been some kind of giants. You just see their skeletons. Below the bunks in the floor of the back wall, you see several large wooden chests that appear to be locked with chains running through metal rings.
There's chests in this one, but they're locked up.
Can we? Do the chains look in good condition?
Nope.
I want to go reshape my packed weapon into a large hammer, a war hammer, and just golf swing and bash the locks, I guess.
Okay. Now, I will. You're doing this to all three chests?
Yes.
These are the things you find. Now, did I accidentally just give away too much information? Yes, I did. But I can't take it back now.
None of us were paying attention anyway.
The too much information may have been posted in the chat.
I saw what it was, Brian.
It's all in the stream, too. Oh, well. Anyway,
There's some nice gear in there.
I'll let you sort that out in the end. So, the crack. You send your familiar in. Can you sense his senses, or is it just vision?
I can see and hear what he sees and hears. We also have telepathic communication within 1,000 feet.
See and hear. Okay. You get the sense that it's almost stifling to breathe, and as he goes in for about 40 feet before it starts to open up about 3 feet high, and then it starts to go on a downward slope for about 60 feet. Do you just want to descend?
Yeah, I'll have him transform into a bat and fly.
Okay, so he flies through this 3-foot high slope. It's smooth floor, but you can grip it, but I guess it doesn't matter. At the end, the crack drops straight down to a floor about 10 feet down. And it opens up to where a human could probably brace themselves against either side and scooch up or down, but there are no good handholds for climbing this thing. But, let's see, at the bottom of the crack. The natural opening is crude and jagged down here, as if the earth was ripped apart It's cramped inside, and on the ground, you find a humanoid skeleton and what appears to be a traveler's pack.
I'll tell the closet to go through the pack.
Inside the pack, actually, real quick, he should roll perception.
Okay. Let's see. Closet. 16. Wow, that's a lot of dildos. That's a 16 perception.
Inside the pack, he finds a decorative cloak, a holy symbol amulet that has what looks like a coin, and the picture on it is a head that has a face on the front and back. It's like a two-faced head. One head seems angry and the other seems sad. The pack also contains a small travel journal, some unusual copper coins that look like ancient currency, a quill and ink, and a small crystal ball. And I'll post those in the chat for you as well.
Okay. How far ultimately, like, if you were to draw the shortest line possible between these two spaces while still actually, like, going through the crack, how long is this travel to this body from the crack?
Hold on. That'd be a total of 100 feet.
100 feet.
Now with that,
rope around anywhere?
somebody might have some.
Like, I have 50 feet of rope.
And with that perception, you rolled. He noticed that this skeleton on the ground was wearing a ring.
I'll have him grab the special coin and rip the ring off and bring them back to me.
Okay.
He should be able to carry those. And I'm gonna go bother the others for some rope.
I have rope. You can have some rope.
I'm gonna tie our ropes together and have my closet drag the other end of the rope down to the skeleton, tie it off, and I'm just gonna pull the whole bag up.
Okay, that's smart. All right. You got all the things. You've looted this place. If any of you have any last things you'd like to do, you can, but otherwise we'll probably close our adventure here.
Okay.
Drag Topiary's body back to the inn.
Okay.
Not surprising.
He needs a proper burial.
Well, most of him anyhow. Not his head and his hand.
Bah.
What are you talking about? I mean, his head and his arm, right?
Earlier in a previous Dolby in game, they had a memorial service for an old woman, and all that was left of her was like a finger and an earlobe. So this is nothing new.
Yeah,
Oh,
I turn
she
in
was
one arm, a torso, and 2 legs. The rest were lost to a portal.
So this kind of stuff happens often in your games. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Especially if Tim is playing.
Brian gives us a whole lot of player agency, and that's normally a bad choice.
Here's the thing. The reason that all that was left of her was a finger and an earlobe is because Tim smashed into her with a carriage.
Yeah.
And then, if I recall, I think Jerry's tack had a bird's eater or something.
Yep. Because I think that was the day I put my Aarakocra too.